Gold makes the wrong move. This is crazy. Gold enjoyed record highs last week and then made the wrong move. Everyone's head is spinning. In this video, I'm going to break this down for you and make it very clear. Gold is not doing what it's supposed to be doing. We're going to start with an article on Reuters that says, Gold surges as Middle East tensions spur safe haven rush. And this article starts by saying that gold prices rose above $2,400 per ounce. I can't even believe I'm reading that. Above $2,400 per ounce to an all-time high on Friday. It's just remarkable how high gold is shooting up. This article states that, according to this author, one great motivation of people going into gold and pushing this price up are tensions in the Middle East, specifically Iran's possible attack on Israel. This author also states that what's really telling about the strength of gold, according to this author, is that the US dollar index and treasury yields are climbing. That's the complete reverse of what we've seen historically with gold. Usually when the US dollar index and treasury yields are climbing, gold is dropping. But gold is making the wrong move. Gold is following. Gold is going up while the dollar's strength is going up and treasury yields' strength are going up. It is so bizarre. We never see this. This is really the opposite of what gold is supposed to be doing. And it really is the wrong move. Now, I'm going to tell you why I think this is really happening. And I say this because I've been stacking gold. I've been stacking silver for many years. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a financial analyst. I'm just telling you my experience and my opinion from years of doing this. I'm just a regular guy stacking gold and stacking silver. Here's an article from Yahoo Finance. And it says, will banks finally have to pay you more for your savings? And I think this is really getting at the root to what we're seeing with gold. This article says, for all the talk about rising deposit costs, the typical bank isn't yet paying much on things such as savings accounts. The article continues by saying, investors were probably hoping for more upbeat projections from banks Friday about their net interest income, which were quite muted as of their year-end reports. After all, investors have slashed their expectations of how many times the Federal Reserve might cut rates from 2024. Initially, investors were talking about 7 cuts in 2024, right? Now we're down to maybe 2 for lucky. Some are even saying none. No cuts for 2024. And that should, in theory, help lenders keep earning higher yields. But this article says during the first quarter reports Friday, JP Morgan Chase only raised its 2024 core net interest income projection by roughly $1 billion. The article says part of the trouble seems to be that even the biggest banks can't entirely get a handle on what will happen with deposit pricing this year. And so what we're seeing, news of deposit competition won't be a surprise to anyone who's walked past a bank window lately. As of late March, more than 730 banks in the U.S. were marketing one-year $10,000 certificates of deposits with rates over 4%, according to S&P Global Market Intelligence. Yet what is happening with CDs has seemed a bit disconnected from some other measures. Notably, the national average rate paid on savings accounts, according to the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, is still under 0.5% as of in March. Under 0.5%. Interest checking is even lower at less than 0.1%. So people are realizing that they can't get anything in terms of rate of return from working with their bank. That's what people are really realizing. And I think that most of us who originally got into stacking gold, we didn't get into it for investing. We got into it to hedge inflation, most of us. And we got into it as a safe store of wealth. We saw the weakening dollar, and we see that the dollar continues to weaken. We got into gold for those reasons. But I think we're getting an influx of people. Yes, fear of missing out is there, obviously. There's always a fear of missing out crowd when the price goes up in gold. But I think what we're seeing is a lot of people looking at gold as an investment because they know that that the banks can't help them. They know that putting their money into a treasury, putting their money into the bank, a savings account, I mean, forget it, right? They see that it's not going to do anything for them. So I don't think it's so much an influx of fear of missing out, meaning like, oh, wow, I got to get this now, get into gold now because I'm going to lose this price. I think people are seeing that, oh, this really is not only a safe store of wealth, but it's something that can really give me a rate of return. I mean, as gold stackers and as silver stackers, we don't look at precious metals as a rate of return, right? We look at it to hedge inflation. We look at it because we see a crisis coming in our economy, and we want to have our wealth in a tangible asset like this 1 ounce gold, right? That we could hold in our hand and know that this is going to be a real wealth that won't be taxed if we need to cash out, right? For all the reasons, I'm just trying to get a good shot there. For all the reasons that we stack. Same thing with silver. The push for gold now going up higher and higher when it's really not supposed to be. When we see a strength in the dollar and we see strength in treasuries, gold should be doing the opposite. But it continues to rally. It continues to push higher and higher. It is just unbelievable. We really, historically, we don't see this. And it's very exciting. It's a very exciting time for gold. That being said, I am not buying. I mean, $2,400 is completely out of my reach. Even to buy a half ounce at $2,400, it is just so expensive. And most importantly, I truly and am clearly advocating that we all hold gold. Do not cash out. This is not the time to cash out. I mean, people thought last week was the upswing for gold and we would see a correction. I thought so. My local coin shop that I go and talk to all the time, he thought so also. But we're still in an upswing. Even this should be the correction. This data that I'm reading from this article that I'm sharing with you, that's data that should result in the correction, right? That's typically what happens with gold. The dollar begins to increase, treasury yields increase, right? And gold has a correction. It drops down and it levels off. But we're not seeing that. We're still going up. It's very exciting. It really is. It is a very exciting time for gold. But do not cash out. People are still dumping gold. Every day when I go into my local coin shop, I'm not going in to buy. I'm really just going to talk and just hang out. I really like this guy, I like this shop. I really trust him. I wish I could interview him, but he does not want to be YouTube famous. He has no interest in being on any social media. But I suggest that you go into your local coin shop and just see how many people are dumping gold. I mean, it's incredible. Any gold they can find, they're cashing out. And some are, I mean, I wouldn't really say stackers, like people that have, 10, 12, 16, 20 ounces of gold. I don't see that. I see people who have 1 or 2 random pieces of gold. And often when I talk to them, they say that they picked it up 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, at most 4 years ago. And now they're super excited to cash out and get a couple $100 above what they spent. But this is the whole point of stacking gold and stacking silver, same thing, is you hold for years. If you can, you hold for decades. And just look at what gold's going to do. Come on. 20 years ago, if you got in 20 years ago, you were picking up 1 ounce gold like I'm showing here. You were picking this up for $400, $450 20 years ago. And now look at where it is. I mean, it's incredible that this is exactly what you're supposed to do. I'm just trying to, these maple leafs are smaller than they seem. That's what you do. You hold it. You hold it for 20, if you can, 10, 20 years. I'm happy to say I'm still young enough. I definitely have another 20, 30, 40 years on this planet. And I'm holding my gold. Absolutely. I'm not cashing out.